Essex passed 500 runs in their second innings on the final day of the LV County Championship match with Northamptonshire at Wantage Road, and that meant the game faded out to a draw on a pitch which remained too flat. All eyes were on Jesse Ryder and Tom Wesley as the last morning began to see just how many more they could add to their fourth wicket partnership, which stood at 216 at the start of the day. The answer should have been just 16 more, because having moved from his overnight 90 to 99, Ryder was dropped off this drive in the covers by Ollie Stone, the single he collected, taking the Kiwi to three figures for the 22nd time in his career. This one had occupied 202 balls, from which he'd struck 9 fours and 1 6. Wesley had added 15 to his overnight 164, but was then undone by a Rory Kleinfeldt bouncer, the partnership coming to an end on 258, the batsman falling just 6 runs short of his career best made 3 summers ago. That wicket had come with the 6th over of the second new ball, which was taken at the start of the day, but Ryder now used its hardness to clear the rope for a second time off Azarullah. Ryder's knock ended on 124 as he guided a ball from Stone into the hands of Stephen Peters, but it was an innings along with Wesley's which had gone a long way to saving this match. The score stood at 408 for 5, the lead at 240 half an hour before lunch, when Ryan Tenduscarter was dropped by Peters at slip, the fielder hurting his finger in the process. While just 14 runs later, James Foster was also given a life in the slips off the same unlucky bowler, Stephen Crook. Had both of those chances been taken, then Northants maybe would have had enough time left in this game to force a victory. But as it was, these two batsmen batted through to lunch and beyond, adding 82 runs for the 6th wicket, and with that went any chance of a positive result in this match. Tenduscarter had made a 50 off 95 balls, and the lead was touching 300 half an hour after lunch, but Foster was in no mood to open this game back up with a declaration. The Essex captain instead was disappointed with himself when he gave Crook a deserved wicket with a nick behind after making 35, and more wickets soon followed. Graham Napier went in a similar way to Foster off Crook with a total on 477 for 7. Rob Keogh found enough turn to have Adil Malik LBW after the batsman decided wrongly to leave the ball alone. And Kleinfeldt bagged the 13th 5-wicket haul of his career as he bounced out David Masters for a 19-ball duck, which showed that Essex was still in no rush to get the ball in their hands. Now, with only last man Reece Topley for company, Tenduscarter decided to play a few shots. And soon after he deposited Keogh for a 6 to bring up the 500, Foster did at last call them in. Tenduscarter ending unbeaten on a 76 made out of a total of 506 for 9, made in 136 overs, that being the county's best in the second innings for 13 years. Kleinfeldt took 5 for 138. Northamptonshire were left with a target of 339 in the last session, the game now drifting. Alex Wakely opened up with Rob Newton in place of the injured Peters, and the two had a chance to improve their averages by batting out the remaining time. Instead, Wakely slapped a short and wide ball from Topley to Masters in the covers after making 13, before Keogh fell in the next over with an edge off Napier to the only slip fieldsman Nick Brown. Then Newton on 33 was legged before to Ravi Bapara at 56 for 3, just around the time the captain should have been shaking hands. Instead, we went into the last hour, Foster knowing that stranger things have happened in games of cricket than a horrible collapse by a team which had spent a very long time in the field, even though this pitch was still playing rather too well. Richard Levy made the most of it. Before both captains agreed that enough was enough, the South African had added another 50 to the big 100 he made in the first innings of this match. This half-century had come off 59 balls, just after the batsman had taken 4 fours off one Malik over. After 2 more overs with 9 still possible, it was all over, Northamptonshire ending on 115 for 3 to take 13 points from this encounter, points which has them in 5th place in the second division table, ahead of their next match with Kent a week on Saturday. Essex stayed bottom after collecting 9 points, but there was much improvement, and they will enter their next game at home to Derbyshire from Sunday with a lot more confidence.